Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a quick reaction to this video that was sent to me earlier today by Paint the Trump. You guys are definitely familiar with my boy Jeff from Paint the Trump. And this is a story that happened here in Tampa at a place called Apollo Beach Dog Park. So we're going to watch this and we're going to react to it. And the reason why I wanted to react to this video is because I've been talking a lot about pit bulls for the last couple of days. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I take my dogs to what's called little dog parks, right? And when I say little dog parks, I think a lot of people thought I was saying that the park itself is little. No. The parks in Florida are mostly segregated by size. So you have a little dog park for little dogs, and you have a big dog park for big dogs. Now, typically, the little dog parks are for breeds like Dachshunds, Shih Tzus, Yorkies, Chihuahuas, things like that. And the weight limit is usually 25 pounds. Now, if someone has like a 30-pound French Bulldog or Frenchie, no one's going to care. But the issues start when someone brings their 50 to 60-pound Pit Bull or Staffy into the little dog side. Those dogs should not be in the little side ever, because again, they're bigger than 25. Now, if they're a puppy, that could be an exception. Like it's like a pit bull puppy who's 8 weeks old, 10 weeks old, 12 weeks old, 3 months old. He's not full grown yet. He's only 20 pounds. That generally is okay. And I've seen a lot of pit bull puppies come to the little dog side. That's fine. They fit the weight requirement. And this is exactly what I'm afraid of happening. This story right here. I wanted to watch it and react to it.
A fight between two dogs at an Apollo Beach dog park ends in gunfire, and one of the animals dead. And tonight we are hearing from witnesses. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer joins us live. Aaron, first of all, have there been any arrests?
At this point, Linda, there haven't. The sheriff's office says this shooting didn't violate any laws, so no arrests are expected at this point. Still, the ordeal left a number of dog owners stunned. The Apollo Beach Dog Park has its regular daily visitors.
The dogs know one another.
So you can imagine the shock.
Traumatized, really.
When a dog fight ended with a gunshot.
To think that you would go to the...
So, they haven't even mentioned the breed of the dog yet, but as soon as I hear stories like this, I just say to myself, let me guess what breed was involved. Let me just take a guess. And I guessed Pit Bull, and you're going to find out in a moment if I was correct or not.
Dog park and lose your dog. Terrible. This is a tragedy.
This witness is so shaken she didn't want to be identified, but she...
Well, babies, there's no one outside. No one there. There's no one there. There's no one there. No need to guard the house right now.
She saw the fight unfold between a golden doodle and a pit bull.
There it is. I'm telling you guys, whenever you hear in the news like small child attacked, small child mauled, dog attacks owner, dog kills owner, 99% of the time, it is a pit bull type breed. 99% of the time, it is a pit bull or one of the related breeds.
Investigators say the golden doodle's owner was armed.
I heard him scream that he was going to shoot her dog, and then he pretty promptly took out a gun and shot it in the head.
Hillsborough deputies say they were told the pit bull's owner didn't make an attempt to break up the fight, but this witness says the owner did try to pull the pit bull away.
It was just awful to see. I've never seen someone kill an animal, and it was not what I was expecting last night.
Another witness took this photo of the golden doodle after the fight. The sheriff's office says after speaking with both owners and witnesses, they aren't planning on making an arrest. Tampa attorney Anthony Rickman explained why.
Florida law allows you to use deadly force with a firearm to defend your dog if you have satisfactory belief that your dog is being killed by another animal or could possibly be killed.
But some wonder whether deadly force was even necessary.
I feel very bad for them.
So, again, here's the thing. There's always this big debate. Is it the owner's fault? Is it the breed's fault? I'm going to tell you guys my view on this. It's both. Okay? Now, if you're going to own a pit bull or a Staffy or any of these like very, very strong breeds, right? If you're going to own them, then you got to be a responsible owner, okay? That means you got to be able to control and train your dog. Now, as I said in my last video, every dog has a unique personality. And that means that some dogs are more predictable and unpredictable than others, right? It varies. So you could have a really well trained dog, but they could still have a degree of unpredictability, or they could be in a situation where they feel they're being attacked and they need to defend themselves. Now, the problem is if I have a Yorkie and I go to the dog park with another Yorkie and they get into a fight, it's not going to end in a death. Two Yorkies fighting almost never ends in a death. They might have a scratch or a bruise or a cut. Technically, I've even heard stories of small dogs losing their eyes to other small dogs because they just get them perfectly, right? That's probably the worst case outcome when it comes to small dogs. But when you have a pit bull that feels a need to defend itself, even if it's justified, it can kill a small breed within a couple of seconds. As soon as that pit bull grabs on the neck of a dog and does the shake, that little dog is dead. As a matter of fact, when that happens, you want to pray that the dog is dead so that it doesn't have a painful death, right? You want to hope it just gets taken out quickly. So to me, it's like you have these owners that have these super powerful animals, and I would say 95% of pit bull owners cannot actually handle their own dog. Now, this includes women that are smaller, that don't have the strength to stop their attacking pit bull because they're just... Hey. See, that's an example, guys. Right on cue. My two Yorkies just got into a little fight over a dog treat, which you guys just saw. But because they only weigh 12 pounds, I'm able to grab Moon and lift her away without a problem. And Sky, you injured? No injuries. And that's why I just like having small dogs. And this is also why I think it's important to protect little dog parks, to keep them only for little dogs. And, you know, when I was at the dog park a few days ago, that woman brought a pit bull in. And I was annoyed because everybody was clearly uncomfortable. And even after we told her to leave, she literally told us, I don't care about the rules. I'm going to be here with my dog because I want to be here. Meanwhile, her pit bull had just gotten thrown out of the big dog park for behaving too aggressively. So her solution was to bring the dog to the little dog park. Afterwards, moments later, her dog did get into a fight with a Frenchie, and the dogs had to be pulled apart. And it was a pretty scary 10 seconds for everyone at the dog park. And so, yeah, I just... When these pit bull owners bring their pit bulls into the little dog park, they're putting their dog at risk too. Now, their dog is not going to get injured, right? However, if their pit bull injures a small breed, then guess what? That dog is going to have to be behaviorally euthanized and put to sleep. So now there's either an injured, dead small dog, or there's an injured, dead small dog and a dead pit bull. I don't want that. Look, I don't hate pit bulls. I don't. I just don't trust owners. The breed was bred for specific activities. Many pit bulls were bred for dogfighting. This is a fact. And they are stronger than most dogs. They are faster. They have a stronger bite. They have gameness, meaning their ability to never give up in a fight, to not quit, despite injuries they might get. And they also have, I believe, just pure bloodlust. I believe some of the dogs, when that switch goes off, they kill for sport, not just self-defense. Right? And at the end of the day, all these dogs, they're all animals. They all have an instinct. And that instinct can kick in to various degrees based on the animal. Now, you guys heard and saw my two Yorkies. And again, they're siblings, so a lot of times if you keep sibling dogs together, they could develop something called puppy litter syndrome, which is where they fight uncontrollably. My dogs don't do that, but they will fight like that sometimes. Now, Sunlight and Cloud, who are not related, they'll fight like that very rarely. My two puppies, the siblings, they definitely do that more often than any other pairs of dogs I've ever had. So there's probably a small degree of puppy litter syndrome happening, but it's very easy for me to break the dogs apart and not be worried about any injuries. Who is that? Who's barking? Oh, that's Cloud. Wow. Cloud. So Cloud, she gets her treats, and then she just sits there watching it and then growling at all the dogs as they try to get near it. She doesn't eat it right away. She sits there for like 2 hours just guarding her treat. But anyway, I don't hate pits. I don't want pits to be killed. I want every dog to be safe. And what I believe needs to happen in this society, again, this is my belief. I believe anybody who owns a fighting breed dog, pit bull, American bulldog, staffies, those kind of breeds, those owners should be required to attend a training class, right? Their dog should be professionally trained. Their dog should wear muzzles in public. The owner should carry insurance in case their dog causes an injury or a death. There should be some kind of injury or life insurance. And I also think that pit bull owners should be forced to carry the tools required to stop their dog from attacking. And that includes things like break sticks, right? A break stick is a tool that you use to wedge within a pit bull's mouth, and you can open up the jaws that way. Now, the jaws don't lock, they're just very strong. But I think a break stick is the minimum tool that every pit bull owner should carry. And I'll tell you, to this day, I have never seen a single pit bull owner carrying a break stick. They just don't do it. They should. I also think that pit bull owners should be legally required to carry bear mace, right? So, again, non-fatal way to stop their dog from attacking. But ultimately, I do think that pit bull owners should be required to conceal carry, so that if their dog does need to be neutralized, they have a tool to do that. Here's the big problem, though. If you look at the data, people that own pit bulls, they over-index for being felons, having a criminal record. That's just, not all pit bull owners are criminals, right? Let's be clear. But the people that gravitate towards owning pit bulls and similar breeds, they over-index as people that have committed felonies or have had prior convictions. So that becomes a little tricky with the gun ownership. But I believe the break stick and the bear mace, bare minimum. You need to be able to control your dog. And if you can't control your dog, then you should not be able to own that dog. And I would like to see laws put in place where if you have a pit bull mix, 50% or more, Staffy, American Bulldogs, any of these dogs, we should have dedicated days at dog parks for these breeds. Whether it's every Wednesday, whether it's every Wednesday, Sunday, whether it's between the hours of 12 and 2, 2 and 4, whatever it is, there needs to be dedicated days where these pit bull owners can bring their dogs to the dog park and know that other breeds like Golden Doodles and Yorkies are not going to be put subject to the risk of their dogs. And let me tell you something, when you put all these fighting breeds together, even if they're all well trained, there's going to be a level of instinct that's going to kick in at some times. And you're going to see, I almost guarantee it, you are going to see more fights happening in a pit bull only dog park than you'd ever see with any other type of dog park. And that is not, the idea is not going to last long because there's going to be too many pit bulls fighting, getting injured, and dying too quickly. But to me, I don't see how these dogs can fit into normal society with normal pets when you're essentially having a mini lion on a leash. And if you cannot control that mini lion, then you should not bring that mini lion into a dog park, whether it's big or small. That's my view. That's my view. You know, I know pit bull owners, they'll say I'm crazy, they'll disagree with me, because maybe anecdotally they've had a good experience, but the data is extremely, extremely clear. Now, Buckshot says, are Rottweilers as bad as pit bulls? No. Rottweilers are not as dangerous as pit bulls. However, Rottweilers are also very dangerous dogs. They're very powerful. They're typically used as guard dogs to protect the family. They're actually very good guard dogs, and that requires professional training. But I look at this issue like I look at all issues. Let's rank which is the biggest issue, and then let's address that first. And right now, the biggest issue is pit bull attacks. They are responsible for about 65% of human fatalities. So to me, it's like, let's start with the 65%. And once we solve that and reduce that to near zero, then we could start going down the list and looking at the other breeds. That is my viewpoint on it. And here's a story in Tampa that just happened. It's heartbreaking. I feel bad for the pit bull.
I'm sure that they're traumatized.
You know, the regulars that are here all love animals, and they understand that there are steps you can take when dogs have fights to end them peacefully.
Now that's obviously
starting out with a look
true.
at wind chills across the state, where it is feeling quite cold for many spots. Feels like 21 in Pensacola, Tallahassee, Jacksonville feeling like 30 degrees. For Florida,
That's obviously not true. Like sometimes, like when a dog is fighting, if they're a big dog like that, it's very difficult to peacefully, she said, end the fight. That's just the reality. And if you don't believe me, then spend a few minutes on Reddit and go to the subreddit Banned Pit Bulls. Now, obviously, that is a very biased subreddit. However, they link to news stories and videos of things that actually happened. So you could watch for yourself, and you could see the danger of a pit bull that has, quote unquote, snapped and is in attack mode. And it is very difficult to get that one pit bull to stop. Now, imagine if it's 2 or 3 of them and they start operating like a pack. That is a very deadly scenario, even for a regular-sized human being. That could be a very deadly situation very, very quickly. I saw one video on the Banned Pitbull subreddit of, I believe it was a pitbull, it might have been a staffy, who had killed a small dog. It broke into the enclosure and killed the small dog. And so animal control was called. And it took like 7 animal control officers to neutralize this dog. And they were using the poles with the rope at the end as a collar. Those weren't working. They had tasers. That wasn't working. They had prongs. Nothing was working. It took 7 animal control workers to finally subdue this dog. And that's crazy because there's not always going to be 7 people with tools that can actually do that, right? Whereas with a Shih Tzu, Yorkie, Chihuahua, you need one person, even a child. Even a small child could stop a Yorkie from a fight with the Chihuahua. Even a small child can grab them by their harness and pull them apart, right? So that's my viewpoint on. RJ Turtle says, so I guess I don't have freedom of speech. I don't know what that means, because you're here on my channel with free speech. If there's any censorship happening, it's on YouTube's end, not mine. So I don't know where that comment came from, RJ Turtle. If you want to add some more context, feel free. You're on the screen. As a matter of fact, you have so much free speech on my channel that your comment is now being broadcast on the screen. So I'm going to wait a minute for you to add some context to that comment because I don't know what you're talking about. All right, we waited long enough. I don't see any follow-up to that comment. I don't know what that means. But yes, you do have free speech on this channel, and feel free to say how you feel. Give me some feedback. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Heartbreaking, probably was avoidable. If you know your pit bull is prone to violence, aggressive behavior, you probably don't want to bring them to a dog park because you never know, especially in Florida, who's going to be armed and who isn't. You know, we're allowed to be armed here in Florida. We have concealed carry by anybody. You don't need a permit anymore. And so I cannot blame a dog owner seeing a pit bull attacking his dog and saying, we have about 5 seconds to put a stop to this, or I'm going to have to take measures to save my dog's life. So RJ Turtle, who claims there's no free speech on this channel, says, ankle biters bit my friend who has never been bitten by any other dog. He was a rescuer. I have had pits for years and my dogs have never been in a fight. Here again, guys, this is an example of a pit bull owner who takes their anecdotal experience of having pit bulls who've never gone into a fight and then saying, because my dogs have not gotten into a fight, and all pit bulls are just the same. That's a crazy statement. The data does not back up what you're saying. And I'm very happy that your dogs have not gotten into any fights. That's a great thing. And as far as ankle biters, I mean, I own ankle biter dogs. Those are what my dogs are. And when Moon was a puppy, she would often get excited at the dog park and she would literally bite my ankles. And it was very, very annoying. However, it was also very easy for me to make it stop without risk of fear to my tendons, my organs, my life, my face. There is no scenario that my dog Moon can kill me. It is an impossibility. She could be a rabid dog going haywire, and there is zero risk she will kill me. Could she draw blood? Sure, if she bites me and I pull away fast enough and I get that perfect angle, maybe then, you know, or if I don't trim their nails down and they get excited, they scratch me, maybe then. But the risk of a Yorkie killing me and causing long-term permanent damage is almost zero. The risk of your 3 pit bulls injuring me or causing permanent damage is significantly higher. Not saying that your dogs will do it, but let's say I walk in their home and I have a hat on or something, or a hoodie, which a lot of dogs don't like, and they perceive me as a stranger, and they think it's their duty to protect their home, which again, in a way, they're justified protecting their home. Guess what? I would be at risk of being killed by 3 pit bulls, even if they're justified in defending their home. Now it's a life or death situation for me. So you have to understand the difference between pit bulls and non-pit bulls. There's a huge difference, and you have to understand that. And based on your comments, my fear is that you don't understand the power of the dogs you have, simply because your pit bulls have been very blessed in treating you and not putting you in a situation where you had to break up a fight. They've spoiled you with their good behavior. And that's a really, really good thing. But I've also been talking to a lot of pit bull owners that acknowledge the danger of owning pits. And that to me is a rational pit bull owner. They'll say to me, yo, I understand my dog is very dangerous. And I understand that my dog could cause a lot of damage to people and other pets. That's why I don't bring my pit bulls to dog parks, because I'm aware that little dogs or smaller dogs can cause a scenario that'll force my dog to react, and I know that my dog can kill theirs quickly. That to me is responsible pit bull ownership. What you are saying and justifying to me just sounds really inappropriate and reckless, in my opinion. That's just my viewpoint. At least own and acknowledge how dangerous certain breeds are. That goes for Rottweilers too, and German Shepherds. Let's be honest. I have a feeling most parents would not like their children spending the night in a home with pit bulls. Exactly. I would never let my child, my unborn children, spend a day at anyone's house that had a pit bull or a Rottweiler. I don't know those dogs. I don't know the owners. I'm not going to subject my kids to that risk. I'm going to play another quick story for you guys while we're here.
Back home now.
This is another quick story which we spoke about on my channel.
A nightmare scenario just days after Christmas. Cincinnati police are investigating the death of a three-year-old girl killed by 2 dogs. And tonight we sit down with Kingsley Wright's mother as she begs for answers. WLWT News 5 Sean McKinnon joins us in the studio. So Sean, what exactly are police telling us tonight?
Chris, Cincinnati police say it happened in a Roselawn home around 8 in the morning yesterday. Kingsley Wright was simply spending time at a family member's house. When her mom got the news, her daughter was killed by the dogs.
So to be clear, it was the father, it was the father's house. I believe the story is the mom and dad were split. The child here was sent to the dad's home.
Oh no, not trying. Baby,
I'm not going to get this her day anymore.
Kingsley Wright was just 3 years old. Now, instead of unwrapping gifts together, Gina Smith is burying her baby girl.
I just want to know why, how.
Cincinnati police confirmed they're investigating the little girl's death. When first responders arrived in Roselawn Friday, a heartbreaking scene. Kingsley was killed by 2 dogs. Officers are advised to turn off their body-worn cameras.
I think we're going to need animal care to respond here to secure 2 dogs.
Smith says her child was spending time with family for the holidays, but she had no idea these dogs were dangerous.
I would have not allowed my baby around vicious dogs. Why would I do that?
What happened still isn't clear to Smith, and they want the full picture.
Those kind of dogs are over 100 pounds, so, did they just sit on her and kill her and then start mauling on her, or
Did they crush her,
And why? Like, what made them want to do that to just a little baby sleeping on the couch?
The coroner couldn't let Smith see her daughter, saying Kingsley's injuries were too graphic. She worries she may never see her girl's body and already had her final goodbye.
It's the last time I got to say goodbye to my baby. I told her I loved her and I would see her in a few days.
Just devastating. And tonight, Gina Smith is hoping that as this investigation continues, law enforcement will keep her in the loop and get her the answers about how these dogs got near Kingsley and why nobody was able to save her. Sean McKinnon, WLWT, News 5.
So many questions on that horrific story, Sean. Thank you so much.
So apparently, the father was in a different room, from what I understand. He was in a different room when it was happening, the attack. And by the time he came into the room, it was too late. The girl was already killed. So, again, not all pit bull owners are like this. The odds are also, let's put it in context, they're small. It's not like you meet a pit bull and there's a 50-50 chance. No, it's not like that. I would actually say that the odds would be, we could look up the numbers, but I would put it in the single digits that you could meet an aggressive pit bull. Single digits. The problem is, though, when that pit bull does get aggressive, if the owner is not capable of stopping it, that's a shitty situation to be in. So anyway, I don't hate the breed. I'm just aware of how unpredictable and powerful the breed is. Just as all dogs are unpredictable, but when you add power to that unpredictability, it can become a very tricky situation. I did, however, realize that there is one topic that is more triggering than politics, and that is when you speak out against the pit bull breed. People get really triggered by that. And as you can see, we've already lost a subscriber from my channel just because I'm bringing up the realities of the dangers of certain breeds. It is what it is. I'm not going to stop speaking my truth and data and research and stories just because someone might not like the outcome of that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments of these stories. Heartbreaking stuff. And, if you own a big dog, just don't bring them to little dog parks. Keep them in the big dog parks. And that's going to be what's safest for everybody. And again, if you have kids, don't let your kids near dogs that you don't know and are unfamiliar with. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed watching this video. We have more content coming for you this week. And as always, God bless Trump.